Start your exegetical paper with a thesis. After your introduction, a statement of 1 or 2 sentences. Your thesis comes from your topic of your paper, plus the purpose of your paper. What are you trying to prove? Tell the reader exactly what you're attempting to accomplish in your exegetical paper in the very beginning. In an exegetical paper, you can do 3 things. You can prove your thesis, you can disprove someone else's thesis, or when all odds fail, you can elect to inform of a topic of your choice. For example, I will show the importance of Acts passages about women in ministry in the church today. With this, you avoid the arguments for and against, although you may present them in your paper, but choose to inform without intent to take sides, but to show what the text actually says. Next is your bibliography. We've already done this in our assignment. My only advice here would be choose your bibliography carefully and choose only texts that you will actually use. You don't want to have too heavy of a bibliography that you'll never use. You want to list exactly the sources that will be helpful to you in establishing your thesis, proving your thesis, and presenting a good exegetical paper. Next step. In Unit 5 and 6, you have to do an assimilation of research, which is basically annotated bibliography telling how you're using your sources to prove your topic. For example, point 1 of my research is that in Acts, the Christian community sold all properties and lived together. This first point of mine is proven by Dr. Arrington, for example, who says that, and so on. So just a friendly warning here, instead of giving 5 or 6 lines of direct quotes from a book on the short paper, simply paraphrase with your own words and cite the reference. Then write your personal opinion on what your source says and how it proves your topic. Or you can state that you disagree with the author on his points 1, 2, or 3. List your reasons for disagreement and then state what you think the Bible text tells differently. Then move to the next source. You can also elect to parallel 2 or 3 sources to evaluate their similarities or differences between them, and finally express your preference for one or more. Your assignment for Unit 6, right before the submitting of your final paper, is an annotated outline. This is an outline in which each point is explained with 1 or 2 sentences telling how each point is connected with your thesis and it connects with the other points in the paper. With all this in mind, this is how I will do a biblical exegesis on 1 or more passages, in our case, passages from the book of Acts. First of all, establish the context of the passage. For example, in Acts, we have the pneumatological theme of the Spirit working through the church, which has canonical continuity with the Gospel of John, where the risen Christ breathes the Spirit upon his disciples and commands them to receive the Spirit baptism. A prophetic imperative we then see fulfilled in Acts. Number 2, establish the historical background. Your text by Clinton would be an excellent help in this, as it gives much historical, archaeological, and cultural details. Number 3, analyze the content of the actual text, 1 or 2 passages that you may have elected. If you're doing a topical paper, you'll need several passages from Acts to prove your thesis. For the length of this assignment, I would suggest no more than 2 or 3 passages from Acts, because the space is just not enough for in-depth study of much more. Step 4. Analyze the passage of your text critically, meaning look in what the words actually mean in the original language, and now this is the meat of your paper. First off, is this passage in its entirety found in the earliest known New Testament manuscripts, or is it a later addition which could be contested by other manuscripts? And if so, how does this affect your chosen topic? For the actual word study, use Bible dictionaries. I like Kittel, Wist, or Thayer Lexicon of the Greek New Testament. If you don't have any of them close by, find Vine's. This is very common. A dictionary of the New Testament, word study of the New Testament, or even Zodiatus word study. Avoid Strong's Concordance, since it has very limited word studies. Apart from the word study and morphology, look at the grammar used in the passage. Does it contain anything specific related to your topic? Step 5. Analyze the text theologically. Try not to preach here. Instead, tell the reader what are the doctrines discussed in your text and how do they correlate to each other. Explain which doctrine is important to your topic and how it is important. What does it prove or what does it disprove? What are you adding to it? How do you understand, how do you interpret it? Finally, at the end of your exegetical paper, add your own analysis and practical applications of the text that you've been exploring. How do you interpret it in your personal experience with God? How does it inspire you Personally, does it illuminate other issues that are important in ministry and life? Include practical applications. How can the text that you have explored bring more light within practical issues of ministry? How could this text be applied differently in the way we do ministry and church today? How are you using it in your ministry? What does this passage mean to you personally? Does it change you in a certain way? Does it transform the way that you do ministry? Does it challenge you on a level that you haven't been challenged before? All these personal explorations and personal experience of the passage are left for the very end. Actually, this is what a good exegesis will do. After studying, after exploring, after getting deep with the text, we must come to a conclusion that affect our ministry and our being as Christians today. With all this in mind, good luck to everyone in writing your exegetical paper. I'm looking forward to reading them as soon as you get them done.